Welcome back to our series on Ignatian wisdom, as we're looking at lessons that Ignatius gives to us through his experience in his dictated autobiography. The last two times we met, we talked about how Ignatius made a momentous decision when he left Jerusalem, that he felt what God was inviting him to serve others. And that becomes a basic criteria for discovering how God is leading him through service. He's in union with God through serving others. And he recognizes that he must learn more. He must deepen his expertise, his knowledge, be a better service to others. When he goes to Barcelona and he begins to study grammar with younger students in the classroom and also being tutored by Master Ardeval, he notices an experience. And he speaks of this in chapter 6 of his autobiography. Returning to Barcelona, he began his studies with great diligence. But there's one thing that stood very much in his way, and that is that when he began to learn by heart, as has to be done in the beginning of grammar, he received new light on spiritual things and new delights. So strong were these delights that he could memorize nothing, nor could he get rid of them however much he tried. Thinking this over at various times, he said to himself, "Even when I go to prayer or attend Mass, these lights do not come to me so vividly." Thus, step by step, he came to recognize that it was a temptation. Now, having spiritual thoughts and feelings are a good thing in themselves, but he knows that they came more vividly, more rapidly, when he was trying to study, which was his predominant vocation at that moment, at that time, was to prepare himself to help other people. And he knows that even in prayer, he didn't receive as great of many delights or intensely, but only when he was studying. And he reflected on that experience and recognizing, well, these experiences, even though they're good in themselves, are not from the Spirit of God, because they're taking me away from my primary task at this time, to prepare myself to further help others, but rather they are a distraction. So he comes to the conclusion that these spiritual delights are a temptation. What does he learn from that? He learns that the evil spirit, the spirit that's contrary to God, can come under the guise of good. That there is a consolation that he desires, but consolation can be a true consolation that leads us deeper into faith, hope, and love. And there can be false consolations which distract us or water down our basic task, our basic God-given desires and task at that particular moment. And so we begin to discover that there's a subtlety to how the spirit that's contrary to God, how there's a subtlety within our lives we experience this spirit, this evil spirit, a bad spirit, that tries to take away, that tries to blunt our God-given tasks at different moments. It shows us a subtlety of discerning the spirits, how we are being influenced. And Ignatius, in reflecting upon his experience in studies and other times too, they notice the subtleties of how we can be distracted by the spirit that is not of God. And so begins to reflect and refine the discernment of spirits and how God continues to lead him and how he can be distracted. So that's a lesson for today from Ignatius' experience, the discovery of the difference between true consolation and how one can slip into a false consolation. It's not long-lasting, does not lead to greater service, and does not lead to greater love. So thank you very much.